Okay, so the last time I did 12 word searches was 7 months ago, in 2025. It's been a long time since I played it. I almost finished it last time and didn't, and I know why I didn't finish it now. I watched the entire VOD because it's been so long in order to catch up on what I was doing, so I'm not completely lost here. And in watching the VOD, I saw every mistake that I was making. So I had booked a lot of time to finish this game, and I'm not going to need it because I think even just from watching the VOD, I already know everything that I have to do. So I'm going to step through all the stuff I have to finish the game, and then I'm going to conclude with some feedback for the dev, which I'll probably post on itch.io, because I think that this game is really brilliant, and it just needs a little bit of tweaks, I think, to avoid players like me getting caught in the traps that I got caught in, and it would elevate from really brilliant to extremely brilliant. So let me just scroll through it here with the stuff that I've already written down. This puzzle is basically done now, so I don't have anything new to add to this guy. This one, I feel so stupid. I'm watching the VOD and I'm like, well, clearly the theme is the Chinese zodiac, right? It's rooster, ox. I don't know why I didn't see it. I mean, you can even make the C and the C here for Chinese zodiac. So why don't I just go ahead and do this one? I think so. Let me explain why I didn't get this before. This is kind of my big feedback for the dev. This puzzle here is extremely clever because what they're trying to do is they're trying to make you read this and think that it's 3, but it's actually 8. Because a rule that I never caught last stream and that people in chat kept trying to like nudge me toward that I still never got is that anything that's on the right side of this line is always meant to be read backwards, right? Like yam is actually May, this is actually tab, this would have to be dragon, tiger, dog, monkey, right? This is the Laguna de Gato. Now, I knew that some of the clues were backwards, but never picked up on the fact that all of the clues on the right side are intended to be backwards. And I can tell you exactly the reason for that. It's because of this tab here, the rules tab. This tab should say this C, fine, ton, all, do. And I think that since this is the tab that's supposed to teach you the hidden rules of the puzzle that you didn't know to this point, that would be enough to explain to every player that everything on the right side is always meant to be read backwards. And I think that even the clue down here seems to suggest that's true, right? Because this says this is D3, which would make this start with D and be do, not wed. This is this should be T3, which would be ton, not. And this is S2, which should be C, not is. Now, I don't know why the dev maybe changed it during development, if this is just a mistake. I looked at the most recent version of the puzzle, and it still says is, not, and wed here. But if you just change that to C, ton, and do, I think it solves everything. It would have kept me from getting stuck for like an hour and a half. Because I mean, maybe the reason is that, well, C isn't technically an English word. Like one of the beauties of this puzzle is that almost all of the words that are backwards are real words in English, or at least like nonsense. C is Spanish, but C being Spanish works, right? Because of the Laguna de Gato cookie. That might even make somebody think, oh, maybe this is a backwards word in a language other than English, right? So when I saw that this was written forwards, not backwards, and then I saw that this word here, when I suspected that this was 3, I wasn't able to like fix that or get out of that. I'm like, when I was certain that this was supposed to be 3, it never occurred to me that, well, maybe it's actually 8 backwards. But I get the brilliance of it now. I get that, oh, it looks like 3, but then when you come back to it, knowing the rule about things being backwards, then you'll realize, oh, it's actually 8. But since this is a PDF and not a video game, I didn't have any way to know that, right? If this were a very light video game that was almost exactly the same as the PDF, it just had you type things in and then did like a little validation to tell you if you were right or wrong. This is the part where the player would write in 3 as the clue there, and it would tell them you're wrong, and be like, whoa, what? And then they'd have the revelation, oh, it's because it's supposed to be 8 backwards. I get it. Part of the problem here is that 8 is positioned where I guess you would expect 8 to be. If these were in order, if it's supposed to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, not all of these sets of 12 things are necessarily in order. Like May here is definitely positioned further down than I would expect it to be. I would expect it to be January, February, March, April, and then May would be on the left, right? So that kind of breaks the puzzle. If you wanted to just say yam and you want it to be 2 hidden letters, you can't get away with that if you're trying to have them all be in order. But I think maybe if you were able to rearrange some of the puzzles to get them in order better, it would bait out the idea that this could be 8 rather than 3. I feel like keeping the idea that the player first thinks it's 3 and then later realizes that it has to be 8 is really smart. But without it being a video game, with it being a PDF, I feel like the likelihood that a player is going to realize that in time without getting stuck going down a rabbit hole like I did is pretty low. Hey Bucky, how you doing? So let me continue here. This guy, I'll just go ahead and work on it now. Now that I know that all of this is supposed to be like, this should be dog, which is right here. Go ahead and make that blue again. Monkey looks like it's here. Let me change my default setting to blue. Dragon should be on here somewhere. See, I'm gonna DR. Well, I see it there, but that would not. I guess that there's another instance of dog. Yeah. Let's not change the default successfully. Say that's probably a dragon. I don't know why my default highlight color isn't working. So we got dragon, should be tiger somewhere. I think it's okay if we cross over like this, right? Yeah. Switch that again. And then there should be a rabbit should be on here somewhere, right? You see a double B. Yeah, I see rabbit. Okay. I see snake. Do I see snake? Snake's on here a bunch of times. There's a KE. That would give me snake, but then I'd have to get monkey somewhere else. Make sure snake isn't on here elsewhere. Where are my Ks? KESNAK. There we go. Snake. We got tiger. Goat's one, isn't it? Chinese zodiac. 1 second. Goat and horse. There's goat. This should be horse. Okay. Yeah, because I guess if I had gotten these are all backwards thing, I would have gotten off the idea that like notary and rooster had to. I would have realized that this was Chinese zodiac much faster. It was like super obvious to me when I was watching the VOD. I was like, how the fuck did I not recognize this? What the hell? It's like so easy. It must have been really miserable to watch when you're like, oh my god, it's so obvious, dude. How are you not getting it? There's rat. I want to change some of these to pink, actually, the ones that aren't marked. So that's snake isn't one. Rabbit's not one. I feel like the zodiac ones you could probably put in like you couldn't do them. You'd have to pick an arbitrary starting point, but you could still kind of put them in order, right? So that's ox, rabbit, snake, rat. 2, 3, 4, 5. So we need to get 2 more. So I'm missing goat and pig. So I see pig there. I have to find dog somewhere else still. There's somewhere else pig could be. Go ahead and delete that dog. Okay, let's see where my D's are. So this is a D, no O's. Yeah. Might have to do dog over here. Oh, I can probably do dragon starting from here. Okay, and that gets me dog in the bottom corner. Great. Okay. So We want this to be blue, but I can fix it in a second. That's dragon. And then this is dog. It's blue also. We got pig, and now I need goat. Oh, goat and rat both have AT, and this doesn't connect to an O anywhere. GOA OT. Search for all our G's here. GO. Oh. GO, no. Oh, there it is. I already got it. Do I have them all now? Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm missing one. We've got rooster. Did I not do tiger yet? Oh, there's tiger. Dragon. Dog. Oh, horse. I see it, I think. That uses... No, that's okay. Okay. Horse. Fantastic. All right, so and we know that this is going to be reward, right? REWARD. I had already guessed that just based on context down here. Reward. Yeah. So this is another thing that's like, if you were wondering, well, why is he not getting this? Because it wasn't clear to me that the right side was always backwards. I just thought that occasionally some of these words are backwards. So this being fired now makes sense if it's actually wonder if. Get that now. Wonder if. Yeah, I think not understanding that the right side is backwards is something that if this were a video game, it would be impossible for the player to not know that. They would get tripped up by having to enter what the words are on the right side and putting them in wrong. I think there probably are enough clues to get it, but given that the player is dependent on blanks, like here, if you just know that, okay, this is digits, there's no reason to expect that like the position on this one matters at all when it doesn't matter here and it doesn't matter here and so on, right? So, lacking any reward I could deliver, I will give a message. No trace of puzzle remains. Do not wonder if, and this is probably like, I mean, I guess it's an statement like if you missed anything. This is like to tell you that you're actually done when you get here. So, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess that's F8 because it's technically fired now, but you flip it around and get wonder if. These should probably all technically be displayed backwards, but whatever. Although I guess this is another problem. Maybe it's not a problem. This says this is F8, right? Assuming that it's backwards. But here the pre-filled letters are facing forward. It's the same problem as rule 0. If you're going to say that this is F8, then the other ones all have to be displayed as backwards too, and they're not. Or the clue shouldn't be... The clue here should be the R, right, instead of the D. It's not a big deal. Okay. So we still need to finish 11 now. I know that we've got cookies. Did I already fill that one in? I did cookie. Now, I don't know if Chinese zodiac is going to be, unless if it's just like Chinese and it fits in with zodiac somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 12. So we know that this isn't theme because it has to be a word that starts with the letter C and is 8 letters long. I find that confusing because this still looks like that says theme. It certainly doesn't look like it's an 8-letter long word, right? So I don't know if that's an oversight, if that word should be changed from theme to, well, let's look up thesaurus theme, starting with C. Theme. Line motif. Things starting with C. Composition. Let me try a different thesaurus. Theme. Consideration, no. Content, no, it's only 7 letters. It wouldn't make sense here. I guess that's another thing too, is that all these clues are they're all ordered, like the ones I've been stuck on, right? Like this is M8, this is H6, this is P5, this is N7, and so on. I think there's a clue in here that's supposed to draw your attention to that. I think this is how you're supposed to tell that here numeral is listed and highlighted in green, and N7 down here is green. And this is the 6th clue, and it's the 6th clue here, and is also highlighted in green. I think that's where you're supposed to see that. Maybe some other, because I feel like it's pretty important to have this clue. And this is another one of those hints where after I understand how I was supposed to get it, I understand it, and I have the curse of knowledge and can't remove my understanding of how you were supposed to get it. But I feel like if you set that up in just one other place, it would help quite a bit. I guess I still don't know what the thing in the bottom right is. This is probably referring to the clue at the end of the puzzle. Lacking any... Is there going to be like an L? Yeah, L10. I think the big thing I kept struggling with is the L in this font looks exactly the same as the 1 in this font. And I thought it was a digit the whole time. So that totally distracted me from assuming that this had to do with letters on any of the pages where there's an L. So I think even just changing these all to capital letters wouldn't break anything. It probably would remove the ambiguity there. I would change all of these clues to capital letters. I think that fixes the problem almost entirely. One sec, I have to tell Windows to not update my computer here. Okay, back to it. A word that means the same thing as theme that starts with a C and is 8 letters instead of the word theme. I guess I can just look in... Oh, I see it. It's right here. Category. Okay. I feel like that's a mistake. I feel like it must have been theme at some point in the design of the puzzle, and then this title never got changed from theme to category. That looks like that's supposed to say theme, and it being theme makes sense. So maybe just changing this, and you can keep the little splotch obscuring it so you can't make it out. Category. Should be safe because this zodiac doesn't actually touch that O. Okay. So that only leaves the last one. I guess we still need to find Chinese zodiac, maybe. Do we have CH for Chinese? Oh, they did change it in the latest version? Oh, thank goodness. Okay. I was really tripped up on that for a really long time. I kept seeing, because theme is in here, theoretically, with this busted thing, but it just lets you not be able to also do key. Okay, good. I'm glad that got a fix. I think the most pressing thing is this. These all need to be backwards, and then there has to be a really close double check on any of the clues down here to make sure that they're consistent with this stuff. And then anything that could have an order should have an order. I think I would even go so far as to say that if it doesn't need to have an order, like this one doesn't, right? Because there's no rational way to order 12 things related to timekeeping. So if there is no rational way to order it, I would order it in alphabetical, right? You might have to change what some of the clues are if you want to make sure that you're not giving away any of the backwards words on the right side. But if it was alphabetical in every case, unless if there was something else that was more useful for ordering it, it would convey to the player that the order matters, which would let them catch that this is supposed to be 8 and not 3, right? Otherwise, without this being a video game, I don't think there's any way for a player to reasonably infer that and get the necessary epiphany to continue with the puzzle after that point. Okay, anyway, I'm looking for Chinese, because this that looks like there's definitely enough room for that to say Chinese zodiac, right? I think we have the space for it to be that, though, unless if I can get timepiece some other way. Hmm. I don't know what else you would call the Chinese zodiac. Wouldn't be Shengxiao, right? Uh, I guess I should look to see if the word Chinese even appears on here at all, because I guess if I can find it somewhere else, I can move it. Yeah, I have Zodiac already, but that's because there's two different ones called Zodiac. Oh, I didn't even catch that I had done that. I guess maybe I had marked both of them just to remember that they're both there. So is it just Zodiac twice? And I don't have to specify that one of them is Chinese? Yeah, good call though. Um I think it's really important that the title here exactly match the theme or category in Puzzle 11. One, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah, I've struggled to trust these because they're incorrect a lot of the time, or there's some kind of issue with them. But okay, I was hoping to spell out its entirety Chinese zodiac. I wonder if this should just say zodiac then, and just make it clear that it's going to show up twice. Although I don't know, I guess some of these titles don't match. Distant Signs is zodiac. Round and Round is planets, right? Is that what we call it in the theme section? We call it solar system. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's tricky. I get not wanting to give it away. I guess if you call this zodiac and you call this planets or solar system or whatever, you completely give it away. So I can understand wanting the category title to not completely map down here. It's the sort of again, it's the sort of problem that if this were a video game and not a PDF wouldn't be a problem. If I'm picturing the video game version of it, that's almost exactly the same. The only difference is that the player has to draw the markers, which maybe the markers never get validated. Maybe it never tells you whether your drawing is right. That's just like a tool for your own marking. And then to actually solve the puzzle, you have to type in the category name and all 12 of the clues in the proper order, right? And spelled in the right order too. So you'd have to write everything on the right side backwards, technically. Um, in that mode, it would be fine because you could expect the player to type in Chinese zodiac here and then type in only zodiac here, and they can maybe figure out based on how long it is, how much space they have to fill it in. But um, okay, well, if I already have zodiac marked, what was T9? So we had this is timepiece, zodiac, C8's category, which I just got. Timepiece is blue. And then it's a 9-letter word starting with L, which is this last thing here. All that remains. Leftover. Yeah, leftovers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So here's another minor problem. We've developed a convention here that all of these are singular. It's not cookies. It's not numerals. It's not months. So I think this should just be leftover and not leftovers to follow convention, but that's fine. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, L9. Okay. Right. All right, so let's get the remaining letters here. So it's A, N, Y, T, H. Anything was missed. Okay. And I'm waiting on a call back from the vet today, so I'm gonna have to take a quick break when they call. I just have to turn off Do Not Disturb. Okay, so now we just have to find everything here. I think I was confused on this now. I should just be able to find lacking any reward, right? I fill this in and then I can figure out what the last missing stuff is. So, see if we can find puzzle remains do not. Do we have obvious double Z in here somewhere? Your puzzle. Oh, I don't know if it all has to be consecutive. Or each individual word shows up in here somewhere. Let me see if there's another double Z somewhere. R, A, remains, do not. Okay, so that one's good. Let's look for wonder if, maybe. Wonder if. I like this final conclusion here. That's cute. Anything. I try to touch the ones that are covered up. Could be an H, can't say for sure. That looks like a W. That's definitely a W. That gets me. Okay, I see it. Anything was MISSSED. Okay. Keep doing all the longest stuff first. Lacking any. Because it starts from top to bottom, doesn't it? Lacking any. Next is I will give. Hey, thank you, Griffin. Appreciate that. How are you? Welcome. I will give. It doesn't really matter which A is the A at the end, because it will still get me the answer at the end. You're super awesome. Yes. Thanks. Appreciate that. Message should be in here somewhere. It's probably starting here. Message. Okay. I could. ICOULD. Reward looks like it's right there. Though it's a little dangerous to not have that dot there. Deliver. Oh, thanks, Griffin. Yeah, I do plan to return to it. I'm currently finishing up a Melvor Idol playthrough and then working to finish up the RuneScape 3 video essay sequel. And then I'll be free to do Bonfire Man, but I do intend to return to it. Deliver. See liver here. Oh, it's probably almost entirely hidden. Yeah, I was a good chunk of the way through the video essay, the RuneScape 3 video essay, and then Jagex announced that they were going to fix the game, so I kind of have to rethink the whole thing. No trace of. Okay, and then I just have to get an A. Any one of the orphan A's. I guess it kind of matters which A is the orphan A. So let's start typing the excess letters here. And I'm going to have too many because I still have to like select. This is interesting because I have to like figure out what it is and then also select it in the grid, right? I guess we know it's going to be down here. No trace of puzzle remains. Do not wonder if anything was missed. Ends with an N. So what are my N's here that touch stuff? So you'd think they would be up here, right? This is our N. Let me mark this in yellow. Maybe I can do it based on number of letters. T, S, U. Am I using this? I will, yeah. Okay. It's a mystery letter. Hit this S. Puzzle remains. I did use that S. Okay, but not this O or V or this E. All right, let me write the letters down that I have and try to do them backwards here. So it's going to be question mark. Oh, is it win? I think that being an I makes sense to me. You can make out the tippy top of it. Just go ahead and guess that that's an I. So then we have T, S, U, ust. That could be a J. You just win, maybe. EOVA. Really have something wrong here because that doesn't look right. I don't know if that's going to be just. I'm going to. All right. Well, that's not right. So, but I can make out stuff like win, just. Might need to find other things in a different place in the puzzle here. If it is win, then win should also show up at the bottom of the puzzle in some way, right? somewhere down here. W-I. Where are our W's here? Oh, it could be one instead of win. Could that be the top of an O? Yeah, that's probably correct, because then we see just one. Okay. If I'm right about that being just. So let's delete some excess letters here. Let's put this in red, I guess. One. That gets me 7 of the letters that I need to account for. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Could be you have just one. Do not wonder if anything was missed. Something, something, you have just one. So that would be have would account for 4 letters. You would account for 3 letters. No, you have just one. Maybe. Oh, you have just. Might have been expecting an N there for no reason. Assume this is on the right track. Just of you. And then I have a 2-letter word. Have. It's really clever having to like find this in its own puzzle. I think it's pretty doable, but it's tricky. Use that double O somewhere. WONUST. Say that's a J. BO. This O is problematic. So I have HAVE, and I don't think this O is accounted for anywhere. Did I miss an O somewhere? Oh, this isn't part of it. That's supposed to be part of do not. I guess I dipped into it slightly and didn't touch it enough. Okay, that's my confusion. It should be yellow. Okay, now this makes sense. Have just one. So have, and then we should be able to get you. That's why. Oh, as you have just one. Okay. Yellow. O. U. And there's our as, and then there's our as. Okay. As. Got it. Fantastic. That was 39 minutes, not 3 hours. I think I wasted about 90 minutes on this, and I'm sure it was infuriating to watch me on not getting that everything on the right was flipped, and it's because of this. I think that it wouldn't give you very much more information for this to say see, ton, do. Um, like, it's not a huge revelation that everything on the right is backwards. Like, it's reasonable to just think, okay, some of these are backwards sometimes. And unfortunately, this contradicts that, or it contradicts the idea that everything on the right is always backwards. And I think if it was see, ton, do, that's like the load bearing problem with the puzzle, in my opinion. Because even this being C might bait someone to look more closely at Laguna de Gato. I know that we were talking about some of the recent patches. We changed a couple of these words to maybe make them more obviously related to cookies. I think this one's really clever that it looks like a nonsense word, and then when you realize that it's backwards, you Google it and you're like, oh, that's a really obscure cookie that I've never heard of before. That's great. I like that it's like obviously in a horizontal line here, and then you have to keep contorting it to get it to spell out the right thing. Pretty genius, in my opinion. Um, I think probably the weakest point in the entire puzzle is this guy, the keys. I'm guessing that the intent here is we don't want to duplicate this clue with the drawings, but unfortunately there's too many keys that this could be. I think basically every puzzle is pretty restricted to how many of the 12 things it could be, right? Um, Big time, there are only 12 months. Step up, there's 12 digits. Brief interlude, there's 12 instances of letter A. Here, just the fact that it's only palindromes really restricts what words could be possible, right? Um, the cycle continues isn't very restrictive. There's a lot of things that could be timepieces, but the fact that you have the drawings helps make it a little clearer. Here, celestial bodies, it's not super restricted because you do get pretty specific with some of the dwarf planets and shit on here, but still, I think that the puzzle, there's you're not doing anything super janky. There's not a bunch of like repeat occurrences of words where you're seeing the same word show up multiple times. So I just think this one's the weakest because you're both doing kind of janky appearances of certain words. You don't know if space bar is space bar or if it's bar or if it's just space, right? So I don't know if there's a way to add an additional mild hint on this one. I feel like making it more clear that we're talking about keys on a keyboard and saying which keys we're limiting it to isn't going to like break the puzzle for somebody or give them too much information early on, because this is probably the puzzle where the theming is the clearest. Here, you probably don't know what the theme is yet when you see it the first time. Here, it's just like, what the fuck is this? You have no idea what the theme is. You don't even know that themes exist. This is the first puzzle to start to tip off that themes might exist. So I think just like constraining what could go here wouldn't be very problematic for the final solution, and it would save a lot of headache without necessarily giving anything away. I guess this is supposed to be what does that for you. These clues down here, you're supposed to be able to know, oh, okay, ampersand, ampersand, control, right? I guess then you would do, well, I guess whatever's here and then control and then caps lock and so on. But maybe this is another place duplicating the clue here with numeral N7 here. I think doing that maybe one more time wouldn't be excessive. And this is probably the most important puzzle to do it on. So having another indication where something is highlighted down here and also highlighted here, maybe even just doing, like, this is really straightforward, but putting it here, putting the A10 in green and then ampersand in green, and then maybe even having ampersand pre-filled out. That's not necessary, but just connecting these two to each other, I think, is really likely. If they see it here and then they see it here, they have two pieces of information that will let them understand what this is supposed to be telling them, and that restricts the space really significantly and makes this this keyboard puzzle a lot more achievable, I think. But this is a absolutely brilliant puzzle. I'm really impressed that there are 12 different categories of 12 things and that they're all able to talk to each other in this way. I love that you walk through the puzzle and then you get a bunch of epiphanies and you walk to the puzzle again and then you get a bunch of epiphanies and then you walk to the puzzle again. I think most of the problems that I have with it could be solved by just making this a video game instead of a PDF. I mean, it loses the effect of you being able to print it off and do it on the plane with a pencil. But we were talking about Epigraph, which is a game about decoding a language, which is a video game that's like barely a video game. It doesn't really do any validation for you. It doesn't track very much for you. You're still mostly having to do it with like a pencil and paper and keeping notes. but it's a game where you can like rotate these blocks around and enter text into them. So even if the ability to highlight stuff in the grid wasn't something that you validated because that would be too difficult to solve, if you were only validating that they entered in the name of the category correctly, the name of the clues correctly, and then entered everything onto the final grid, that would be enough validation feedback that if they got something wrong, if they went to go enter 3 here, I think that would be like a big aha mindfuck epiphany moment that if you typed in 3 here and it told you were wrong, right? That would be a huge for the person figuring out the rest of the puzzle. It would collapse their uncertainty on whether the stuff on the right side is backwards or not. Everything would make sense after they did that. And I think maybe what you do is when you let them go through the word search the first time, you don't tell them that they have to enter these. Like these aren't like editable fields. Maybe there's some kind of point in the puzzle about halfway through. Once you've done just the regular word search stuff, you get to the end and it's like, oh, so to actually solve this, you have to enter these missing gaps here. Because I think it's important that at the beginning, this does work out that if you just wanted to highlight Rosette, Jumble, Fortune, Oatmeal, Otage, Dogdell, you can do that in the puzzle. If you just want to highlight Rooster, what I previously thought was reset, notary, error, like it's great that there are these other wrong answers that technically work, right? That's fantastic. Ampersand, control, escape, all of this technically works. So you want the player, if you're doing a video game version of this, to enter all of that information. And then only after they get to here does it then tell you to go back, and then it unlocks the fields on the right to type them in. And then you provide some kind of basic yes or no validation. So if they write the wrong thing, you tell them it's wrong. Or maybe they have to enter everything correctly on the page in order to get the validation. Maybe it's unfair to just check them on every single step so that they don't just brute force the answer. But here, I think you would figure out this is digits really quickly, and you would write, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or whatever, and then it would tell you, oh, you're wrong. That 3 is incorrect, and that's what's throwing off everything else. That could still be enough to provide the mindfuck. Yeah, and please no non-Euclidean geometry to get lost in. This game is exponentially better than Lingo. It reminds me of Lingo a lot. Lingo is a similar, frequently brilliant, but also frequently extremely frustrating puzzle. But I think that this one is significantly more fixable than Lingo. I think there's just a minor little few pain points for a player to not really be on board with the conveyance of the order in which they're supposed to be doing things. Lingo is problematic like from the bottom up. To fix Lingo, you basically have to make a new game that's inspired by Lingo, but isn't exactly the same. But this is pretty fixable, and yeah, I get it. It's genius. Do more of this. If this developer makes anything else, please send it to me. I would love to play it because it's really impressive, and I'm so blown away by how much of this exists in nature, so to speak, and how you were able to discover it and deploy it. So thanks, Game Saucer, for sharing it. I had a great time with this. This is an excellent little puzzle game. We should get the folks from Cracking the Cryptic to do it. I know Rorak was saying that last time, but I think they could actually make sense of this. Maybe if it gets one more update to clear up some of the problems that I had. Yeah.